Unit 5 Test Study Guide, question number 7. You have a graph of Amber's wages, and you can see that these are the number of hours worked, and this is the amount of pay that she is making. Graph, it's a proportional relationship since it goes through the origin. Question A is write an equation. Remember, when you're writing your equation, you're wanting to set it up as y equals r times x, where r is the unit rate. So the first thing we need to do is find her unit rate. You can find it using any of the points on this line. I would urge you to use one that you can clearly read, like this one. When x is 2, the y value is 14. And again, our unit rate is always going to be y values over x values. And in this case, that is going to be 14 over 2. To make it a unit rate, we need to divide by 2 to make the bottom number become a 1. And our unit rate then is 7 over 1. Labels, what are we talking about? It is $7 for 1 hour of work. She is getting paid $7 per hour. So that's our unit rate. Come back to your equation. And again, our unit rate is $7 for 1 hour. And again, that is our y over our x. Plug this information into the equation. The y values, those are the dollars. Our unit rate is the 7. The bottom of our unit rate is the x values. So it is the hours. So it is times h. That is our equation. D is equal to 7h. Or I think in the answer key it's going to say it as the wages is equal to 7 times the hours worked. Either way. The only thing is, if you are going to write it as y equals 7x, you need to say what y is, you need to say what x is. In this case, y would be the wages, the top values of our unit rate, and x would be the hours. So that is an acceptable answer, or that is an acceptable answer, or even that is an acceptable answer. Now use your equation to solve these problems. And how much would she make for working 12 hours? Again, start with your equation. I'm going to go ahead and go with W equals 7H. 12 hours, that is our H value. So put it into your equation in place of H. W equals 7, put parentheses, put 12 in there. The W is by itself, so all you have to do is do the math. 7 times 12, 7 times 2 is 14, carry a 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 1, it's 8. She would get $84 for working 12 hours. And then, how long will it take her to earn $60? Again, start with your equation. W equals 7H. And this time, you want her wages to be $60. That's what you're being asked about. Plug that into your equation. 60 is equal to 7H. You need to solve your equation. H is being multiplied by 7. You divide by 7. You are going to get H is equal to 60 over 7. Change that into a mixed number. That is going to be 60 divided by 7. 7 times 8 is 56. That's as close as we're going to get. subtract, you get 4. You can stop right there and put your remainder as a fraction. Put the 4 over what you were dividing by, 8 4/7. That is a wonderful answer right there. 8 4/7 hours. Okay? Or you could change it to a decimal. But I would point out to you, okay, all you need to do is change that fraction into a decimal. So you have to divide 4 by 7. Put a decimal point, tack on a few zeros, and actually this one goes like 7 places before it starts to reduce, 6 places before it starts to repeat. You're dividing by a whole number, so the decimal point goes straight up. 7 doesn't go into 4. 7 goes into 45 times, that's 35. Subtract, you get a 5. Bring down a 0. 7 would go into 50. 7 times, that's 49. Subtract, you get a 1. Bring down another 0. And 7 would go into 10 just once. I'm going to stop right there and say that's pretty close. That is approximately 0.57. Don't forget the whole number part was 8, so this would be 8.57 hours. So approximately 8 57/100 hours, or 8 4/7. Okay, question number 8. Again, it's about writing an equation. Troy is working mowing lawns. Troy charged $36 to mow a lawn that took him 1.5 hours, or 1 5/10 hours to mow. Write an equation that models the amount of dollars that Troy charges when it takes him H hours to draw a line. So we're supposed to use a D and an H. Looking at our answers, you can see they've got a difference here. Sometimes they have the D by itself, sometimes the H. Okay, let's see if we can make sense of that. First thing I would say, again, when you're writing the equation, find your unit rate. And remember, when you're setting this up, you're going to do it as y over x. Dollars normally go on top. They are normally the dependent variable. So if you put $36 over 1.5 hours, and then that also makes sense because time is normally the independent variable, that is your y over your x. Make it a unit rate, so divide by 1.5. Divide the top by 1.5. On the bottom, you're going to get 1 hour. On the top, you're going to have to do the math. 36 divided by 1 5/10. Again, make this a whole number. Move the decimal point over 1 spot. 36, the decimal point would have been here. Move it over 1 spot, and your decimal point, or fill in with a 0, the decimal point would go straight up. 15 going into 36, it's going to go 2 whole times, that's 30. Subtract, you get 6. Bring down your 0. 15 would go into 60. Well, that's twice as big as this. It must go 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20, carry a 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus the 2, yeah, that is 60. Subtract, that is it. It's going to be $24 for 1 hour. And again, don't forget that is the y over the x, and your equation is always y equals r times x. Our y values on top, that is going to be our dollars. Our unit rate was the 24, and the x values are on the bottom of our unit rate. That is going to be times the hours. So D equals 24H is the equation we're looking for, and it is right here, letter C.